So, since James O'Keefe has started his new project, I don't know if I would call it a business, but his new venture, Okeefe Media Group, basically he got it started up with the aims of having it be, I don't know what to call it. He compared it to the Uber of journalism, basically equipping regular citizens with the tools, equipment, and training necessary to go be journalists themselves and report on their local findings, which, of course, is absolutely genius. In the social media era, the way that we receive information is not from the news anymore. We hear about it from places like Twitter, places like Facebook, places like Instagram, the local town squares where we all meet and talk about something. It's much easier for somebody to start grabbing and recording their phone and be like, oh my God, somebody's being robbed, somebody's being shot, something bad is happening, or something in general is happening. Let me record this and post it so everybody can see it. That is a lot faster than a media company that has to get a source, get the story, figure out how they're going to display the story, record their section, edit the section, then put it out. Or if it's live, obviously there's planning for a live, what you're going to talk about, getting the dialogue and the teleprompter all prepared. It's a slower process than what people can do nowadays with their phones and a little bit of training. So I think that's genius. And he has been starting off with this story that is basically nationwide political money laundering. So I would definitely recommend anybody who is checking this out, who's interested in something like that, go follow Okeefe Media Group, OMG, here on YouTube. They've got a channel. That's where I got all the information that I've gotten thus far from. And essentially, he's put out a very strange thing on my foot. I'm going to have to look into that. Oh, it's a blister. Whoops. Sorry about that. Random. But anyways, the recent videos he's been putting out, about 3 or 4 of them out now, are local independent journalists going to people in their respective cities or states, knocking on their door and asking them about these contributions that are being listed, basically recorded from these addresses that are small donations, but extremely frequent, like high frequency. So like, imagine 14,000 $10 donations or something like that, ending up being hundreds of thousands of dollars in contributions coming from these people's homes. And when they're asking these people about these contributions, it turns out that they had no clue that it was even happening. Well, that's very strange, isn't it? So that was going on in, I want to say it was Virginia, was the first place that he himself was knocking on doors. Virginia, I know Wisconsin. I'm pretty sure it was also Wisconsin, and I know for sure that it was Arizona. So I'm rusty on it. You know my style. I tell you where to go look and go find it, and I tell you to go do the research yourself. This is happening. Something is being recorded. Something happened. This is no different. I don't have all of the details to spoon feed you guys, but I'm going to let you know that something funky's going on, and Okeefe Media Group is the one uncovering it. Now, with everything else that's going on right now, I can understand that this is probably a little bit lower on the totem pole for most people. So many people are worried about Trump indictment, rightfully so. The demise of the petrodollar, rightfully so. But I really do think that this story is equally as important as those, because if there is an issue with, what the heck? All right, I just found out that my flip-flops gave me blisters. I did not feel that when I was going for a walk. Sorry, it's not your business. But no, it's just as important, because money laundering is going to be... Money laundering in an election is like a freaking huge deal. So just because there are all these other huge deals that are going on, this is just as important. So that's why I figured I would go ahead and make this video, to make a point towards that, just to let you guys know this was going on if you weren't already paying attention. And I've already made a video about what James O'Keefe was going to be doing moving forward, but just in case people didn't see that one, I did want to go ahead and point, to his direction. So I'll keep this video pretty short, because there's really not too much meat to this story just yet, because it hasn't really caught fire. So that's why I'm kind of making this video as well to draw attention to it. So hopefully people start spreading the word, because that is the goal of Okeefe's media group. I'm not necessarily a foot soldier out there recording, knocking on doors and asking questions, but I do act as a node of correspondence, meaning that when I get a hit and some information comes in from over here, I plant it right there and send out my broadcast so that you guys can all get informed and maybe tell somebody else if you want to. Go research it. Correct me if I'm wrong. All of these kind of things. That is the way that independent media is going to work moving forward. Now, you can have your little nighttime, talk shows, your Timcasts, your Crowders, your Daily Wire shows. All this programming is good, but it's slow. You have to wait for whatever its scheduled time is in the day, 10 a.m. for a Crowder, midday for Matt Walsh, early in the morning for Ben. And anything that happens in the news media cycle out of those windows is either going to make it onto the next day's show, if that, or maybe not even be talked about at all, because they only have an hour's time in which they can explain, an hour or 2 hours for things like Timcast and stuff like that, where they're talking to a guest and everything. It's very limited, the amount of information that they can go ahead and share in that time span. This is like exponentially larger than all of that, and that's really, really cool. So once again, shouts out to James Okeefe for taking this whole journalism thing to the next level, as he continuously does, and I have nothing but positive things to say about the man. He can have my sandwich.